الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله حمد الشاكرين حمد الذاكرين حمد الأوابين حمد من بساعات وأرضه ومن ما بينهما ومن ما شئت من شيء بعد أهل الثناء والمجد والعظمة والخلود لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك في الأولى والآخرة وأصلي وأسلم على خير خلق الله وأفضل أنبيائه سيدنا محمد نعمة المهداة والسراج المنير الوهاب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد أيها الإخوة والأخوات، كنت أنوي الحديث عن الإنسان منذ إرادة الله سبحانه وتعالى أن تخلق هذا الإنسان حتى يأتي أمر الله بنهاية الكون. وأثناء تفكيري في الحديث عن الإنسان كما تعلمون جاء في التلفاز, it came through the television, the massacre or the slaughter of those innocent children in America. And I thought I should reflect on that because according to the Christian faith, and so originally what is called the Christian or Judeo-Christian, religion, because it is linked. The Old Testament and the New Testament, you cannot separate both from each other. And the judgment on that those who are and innocent children, if they have died without being baptized, they will go to hell. Because everyone is born with the sin, what they call the eternal sin. And I don't want to go into details about that matter regarding Christianity and Judaism, because, and this is an address to our sisters here, they think or they believe that the woman is the source of every evil. That is their belief. Now, regarding Islam, all children are Ahbabullah, the beloved creation of Allah, regardless of their parents. They are not held responsible for what they do. And if they die, regardless of the parents, whether they are believers or non-believers, they still go to paradise. That is the ruling of Islam. I don't want to go further than that, and I say, even for those who are already grown up, and the message of Islam has not reached them as they should, they are not held responsible for what they do in this life. In other words, those that consider, like the ones before the message of Islam came, to consider, there was a lot of people in gathering, Jews, also, Muslim Ashad who recited some Quran, and many others who participated in that, gathering. The most important thing is to think how Islam looks, the creation, from the moment you are born to the moment when you go to face the deeds you have done in this world. And Islam looks to the human being, whether it is a he or a she, as being a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only that, but the one who is favored. Not only that he is favored, but he has got some holy parts in him. And that holy part is the spirit. Allah said in the Quran, when He created Adam, وَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا, we have blown into thee from our spirit. So the spirit in a human being is holy, is sacred, because it came from God. And this is why in Islam, when a person dies, his ruh does not die, it leaves his body. It goes into the Alam al-Barzakh, because the part that is holy, that is from God, itself cannot die. And this is why Islam looks to every human being as being worth trying to save. Trying to do your utmost to guide him in the right path. And don't forget, brothers and sisters, that the responsibility falls on your shoulders, because it is your duty from that day when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam delivered his message, and he said, have I delivered the message? 3 times, and they said, Bala ya Rasulullah. He said, oh Allah, Allahumma balagta, Allahumma fashhad. I've delivered it, so be my witness. So in other words, that day, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam handed the responsibility of the da'wah to every Muslim. And this is why it is our duty to make sure that we represent this religion, the religion of mercy. As I said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when Allah wanted to say to the world, what did he say? I have not sent to thee, but as a mercy to all the creations. It's not a mercy only to us Muslims. It's a mercy to all his creation. Muslims and non-Muslims. Human beings, animals, plants, ants, whatever it is, Allah created it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the mercy to them. And you will see from the moments Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to deliver his message, he cared for everyone. And everyone spoke to him. Even the animals, even the stones. This is in the books. I don't have to repeat to you. But, in his honor, hands, the stones were, Al-Hasa was, making tasbih. He gave that to Abu Bakr, they continued in his own hands, making tasbih. The duck spoke to him. The gazelle spoke to him. It's unlimited. Those are animals. The tree came to him and bowed in front of him, prostrated in front of him. When, an Arab came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he said to him, show me one of your miracles. He said, go to that tree and tell him that tree, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is calling you. And that tree turned to the right and tried to will itself, tried to the left to turn itself, to pull itself from its roots. So it's not a matter of, a trick of the eyes. You see the real thing taking place. That tree is trying to pull itself. And it came out of the earth and it went straight to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and prostrated in front of him. Even Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, oh ya Rasulullah, should we prostrate for you? He said, no. We don't prostrate but for Allah. This is only to show you that everything in this existence, Muhammad was alayhi afdal as-salat wa taslim, was a message, was a message. I thought, instead of using my English, however it is, it's not a perfect language, but, I try my best. But I thought, I better stick to the proper translation of the, meaning, not the translation of the Quran, because the Quran cannot be translated. Only the meaning meanings of the Quran can be translated. Because the words of Allah cannot be translated. And this is why the Quran has to be read in that form, in the Arabic way. Because those are the words of Allah. And no one can equal Allah's words. As I said, I wanted, to touch on the subject, of how Allah created, But he says, in one, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. Lord, we offered the trust unto the heavens and earth, and the earth, and the hills, but they shrank from bearing it, and were afraid of it, and man assumed it. Lo, he hath proved a tyrant and a fool. And this is what is a human being, and will always be. This is why in Islam, كل ابن آدم خطاء. All the sons of Adams are sinners. There are no angels. Human beings are not angels. They are neither angels or, devils. They are human beings. And one of their creation is that they are bound to make sins. And this is why Allah is willing and offered to forgive them. This is why in the Hadith al-Qudsi narrated by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, "O ya ibadi, law lam tudriku لذهب الله بكم وجاء بقوم آخرين يذنبون فيستغفرون فيغفر الله لهم." What this hadith wants to confirm is one thing, that we are bound to make sins, but there are sins and sins. So I'm not saying that everyone can commit whatever sin it is. To show you that the Muslims always ask themselves, whether the Sharia is the suitable, law for this human being. In front of you, they are discussing who is the evil. Is it the human being or the gun that shoots the children? They said it is the human being. So whatever, if you allow the guns, it doesn't make any difference. If you take the guns, it is the human being. But there are controls for these human beings. Has been always. This is why the laws of Allah regarding that matter is very clear. We don't need psychiatrists, we don't need anybody to come and tell us whether a killer is a killer or not. The moment he takes life, he pays that with his own life. Because the principle in Islam, Allah is the one who gave that life. And He is the only one who can take that life. No one else can take that life. So when anybody takes on himself to become a Lord or a God on earth, then he should pay for it. What I'm trying to stress that, from the moment, I spoke about the amanah. The amanah is this human being, the moment Allah gave him this aql, this brain, and that was his choice. You choose to have that. All the creation don't have. The angels pray for Allah day and night. They don't have much to decide on. This human being is held for his deeds. And so I'm not going to talk about the jinn because that's a different matter, and I'm not, or you are not responsible for their deeds. They'll be responsible directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this human being is responsible for his deeds. He took the amanah. Not only did he take the amanah, but Allah made him the best of his creation. The only creation that Allah shaped with his own hands and formed and fashioned is this human being. Not only that, but he gave him the aql. And with that aql, this human being can create things, can invent things that never existed before. Because of the gift that Allah gave him. But with that gift, he carries the responsibility of his deeds. And so Islam looks to you and value every human being, regardless of their colors or their tongue or their, continent or their place or their country. What amazed me when I was reading the Quran is that I mentioned last khutbah to you that you have come to this country. Don't think that this country is not yours. The principle in Islam that earth belongs to Allah. Wherever you are, it is your land. Don't feel that you are a foreigner here. Al-ardu ardullah. This is one of the principles of Islam. The second principle is al-malu. The wealth belongs to Allah, not to us human beings. And this is why the rules regarding the earth and regarding the wealth, the rules of it is laid down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not by us. When he said, Allah, describing this in the Quran, and for those who are not Arabs, cannot understand, the beauty of it, because when he described, you going into another, country or anything, he described it in a different form. He considered us, this human, not made of clay. He said, like dust. And dust, when it flows, it goes everywhere. So, in other words, when you go to different country, with a different culture, with a different language, with a different, atmosphere, with a different, climate, this is the will of Allah. And you go like a wind into that country. But then, as soon as you go there and it becomes yours, it's like when you have a house and you own it, you are responsible for it. When you come to a different country, it becomes your responsibility to be an active citizen in that country and to participate and to do your role. In the latest, statistics of the government here, which came about, 10 days ago, thing on the television, you must have watched it yourself. The numbers of Muslims in this country, in proportion to others, is 4.8. Means, nearly 5%. 5% of this country are Muslims. What is their contribution here in this society? Is therefore, more or less not noticed. You know what is the population of the Jews in this country? 325,000. The Muslims runs in millions, but they have no part to play in this society. Not because anybody is telling them not to take a part in it, but the Muslims themselves choose to abandon their duty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are supposed to be messengers of Allah, and they are supposed to do what Allah wanted them to do in this life, and to set the example that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he became as a messenger, set the life and the way that Muslims should, follow. Now, somebody came to me, a young chap, and he said, by nature, I like sports. My family were saying that this is a waste of time. I went to a Maulana in the mosque, and he said, don't do it. Don't become interested in these things because it's games and plays. So what is your advice? I said, if you can be a good sportsman, you are an asset to Muslims. Just to have your name to be known as a Muslim, playing in sports and becoming a well-known, means you are taking part in the society here, and you are an asset to the Muslims. Being a sportsman, you don't have to it doesn't mean that you leave your Islam or you leave your duties towards Allah or anything. You can combine both, and you can be a message for Islam in your own, club or people whom you play with, but you will be an asset to the Muslim community here in this country. They will know that we are part of this society, and we take interest in everything. We don't shy from that. Those who tell you that these are kafirs, what surprised me about those people who speaks about kufr and kafir, that they take the money in this country from the kafir and they spend it. And it's a money kafir, it's a kafir money, but they still do it. The negative side, they do. The positive side, they don't. So, the message is for everyone. Don't think that, standing and shouting and insulting and, and attacking this and attacking that will add to the assets of the Muslims anything. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his life, go to read his seerah, he never uttered one bad word one bad word. And I tell you, and I read, I'm in the New Testament, because it's only a small one of 4 books. When I said, there is nothing in that, in the New Testament, I can write a better book than that. It is like the stories of Red Indians. I am not talking, I was talking to Christians after they gave me the book. So they told me, you can't understand Christianity until you read the Old Testament. And so I started reading the 12 books, from Genesis to the book of Kings, to this, to that. I found at the end, there are, in the Old Testament, the Holy Books is 65 books. 65 books. To some, the Protestants, the Catholics take only 65 of the old books. The Catholics, but the Protestants takes from the old books 69. You add to them the 4 new Injil you are talking about, because there are 4 Injils, 4 Bibles. You're talking about 73. I don't have to tell you, if you read that, what conclusion you'll come with. I'm not talking to you because, I am only a Muslim. But I tell you, a religion that considered, and a God that considered that some of his creation is the chosen ones, and the others were created for their pleasure. That's what the Jewish faith. You are a Jew because you are born a Jew, not because you choose to be a Jew, not because you believe in God. It doesn't matter. If you believe or you don't believe, you are still a Jew. You are still from the chosen ones. And you, Allah, gave you that privilege, and all the creation of Him is for your, to do with them what you like. This is why, literally, when a Jew does anything, he doesn't feel that you are equal to him. This is, basically what the Jewish faith is. The Christian faith is based on one man called Jesus. We call him Sayyid Ali. But that Isa is not the Isa that we know and that was revealed to us in the Quran. And anyhow, according to their own information, to their own resources, not from me, they said the first Bible was written, this is according, 100 years after the crucifixion in their knowledge. And to us, after Jesus was raised to heaven. So a book that was written at its best, 100 years after the crucifixion of Jesus. Who wrote that book? We know from the books, from the Bible itself, that Jesus had only 12 disciples. And that religion that tells you every Sunday when you go to church, and now especially when they do the Mass in Christmas, what they call Christmas time, they hand you a small like a ship, and like the, potatoes, very thin. And when they give you that, they say this is the flesh of Jesus. And then they give you the wine to drink, and they say this is the blood of Jesus. A religion that is based on eating flesh and drinking blood is not a religion you would like to be associated with. Imagine yourself, brothers and sisters, if somebody could kill your mother or your father with a knife, and he leaves that knife there. Would you take that knife and put it as a symbol of everything in your life? Will you put it, hang it on your chest, put it on the wall, put it in the place of your worship? The knife that killed your mother and father. They put the cross everywhere. Not only they hang Jesus inside, what is supposed to be Jesus inside the churches, on those crosses, as if, that was not enough for him to be, hanged that day or crucified that day. It has to be hanged all the time until, Allah shows this otherwise. And I don't want to go into the details of that change and when Isa alayhi salam will come into this dunya. But to show you what Allah gave you, Allah what gave you is something, when you think deeply of it, it's the best that Allah can give to any nation. That's the nation of Islam. That's you. That's you. That's you. You can go with your head above anything and talk as a Muslim, based on the principle that, Allah is a salam. This is why Islam, as a name, comes from that, from the same attributes of a salam. This is why our greetings is the salam, whether it's salamu alaykum, or as we say in the tahiyyat, salamu alaykum, ayyuha nabi. But in that form, it is only for the dead. For the alive, you don't say to the person, assalamu alaykum, but you say, assalamu alaykum. That is the Islam that Allah came and gave you. The religion that is perfected in every form and every way. And I just gave you two principles, the basis of that, two religions. One who said, oh no, how can I accept Allah in their theory that says, no, I have only created one people, and they are my chosen ones, and the rest as not there is for their pleasure. Is that a God that is just? No. Or, on the other side, a religion is based on eating flesh and drinking blood. So, I don't want to go, for a long time. I wish I had the time to speak, regarding this matters, and I was going to quote from the Quran, because some people always have the habit to say he's quoting, a weak hadith, not mutawatir, not, that, not this. No, I was going, but our brothers here, they follow a school of thought that, whatever is discussed or the khutbah concentrate or takes place before the khutbah is only a formality. An imam stands there read some verses of the Holy Quran, and then, make salawat ala Nabi and end that with the dua. And that's all. So I don't want I know everyone has got work to do, and I don't want you to be late. So, inshallah, in some other times, I'll have the time, to come and maybe talk in general and answer all questions. But, in the khutbah, I stick to these rules, and I don't want, to go further than that, because they said that, astaghfirullah al-azim, that when Allah created Adam, the best of his angels and those who were nearest to him was Iblis. When he created Adam, Adam became the favorite one. And so Iblis became, very jealous. And so what he did, he wanted to spoil the act altogether. And what he did, he went to the weak part, which is, Sayyidatuna Hawa alayhi salam, and seduced her. Please forgive me for that. But that's, that's what they say. And it's because she felt sorry and guilty of that act, so what she did, as we say in the story in the Quran, that, they went and ate from the tree that is forbidden. It is an act of Allah order that gives exactly as Allah when He created Adam, and He told the Malaika, prostrate for Him. They all prostrated apart from, Iblis. Iblis was, thrown out because of refusing to obey the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I said, I'm better than him. You created him from, clay. I was created from nar, the fire. So, Hawa managed to get Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam to the act, which made, what is called the eternal sin. And then the question I asked them is, if this was taking place as you said, where was he? Where was God? If God knew what was taking place in Jannah, then I don't want to have anything with that God. If he didn't know what was going on, so I don't want to have anything to do with it. This is, to show you how, when you look what is around you, don't be fooled with, the formalities and everything. This is the Islam that you have. Hold to it and be proud of it and be a good Muslim as Allah and Rasulullah wish to you. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum. Fastaghfiruhu yaghfir lakum. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Allahumma ighfir lana warhamna wa tub alayna wahdina wasqina waslih shanana wa shan al-muslimin wansurna ala al-qawm al-zalimin wansurna ala al-qawm al-mufsidin wansurna ala al-qawm al-zalimin. اللهم فك كربة إخواننا في سوريا. اللهم انقذهم مما هم فيه، مما يعانون من عملية الدمار والهلاك والقتل المستمر لأكثر من سنة. اللهم كن نصيرا لهم، اللهم حقق آمالهم، اللهم اجعل هذا البلد وسائر بلاد المسلمين آمنة مطمئنة. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين، وهلك الكفرة والمشركين أعدائك أعداء الدين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى. اللهم يا راسل المنقطعين وصلنا إليك. اللهم هب لنا من لدنك عملا صالحا يقربنا إليك. اللهم لا تخزنا بين خلقك أو يوم العرض عليك. اللهم يا غافر الذنوب اغفر لنا ذنوبنا يا رحيم. اللهم لا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم عظيم حليم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما يقرب إليها من قول وعمل ونية واعتقاد، ونعوذ بك من النار وما يقرب إليها من قول وعمل ونية واعتقاد. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا رب العالمين. وآخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.